Okay, children and food. Now, if we're worshiping God and we're worshiping the temple, and the body is the temple of God, we need to guard our children's temple, okay? Just because you used to eat something and it was fun and exciting does not mean that we have to feed it to our children, okay? We know that the nation is divided through the bowels. We know that Satan is cast to the belly, and we know that the men are divided, and we need to make sure that our children's temple is guarded. And of course, this makes them healthier, which manifests in so many other ways. I talked about natural laws of man and the diet and how that never changes. Okay, this is obvious with the baby as well. I'll just start at the beginning. A baby is born. The baby gets laid on your stomach or your chest. Naturally, within minutes, the baby starts crawling and rooting around and wanting to nurse. Okay, that tells us right there that's the way it should be. Give it a go. Now, if that isn't working for some reason, I hear stories of babies not latching or not able to latch for whatever reason. A lot of this is caused from the pain medications and the epidurals that the babies are given, but there's also other reasons. This hasn't happened to me, but if it does, you know, the next best option would be to pump the milk out until you figure out what to do. Breast milk is made for your baby, your particular child, for every day of its life, and it changes depending on the age of the baby and what's going on with the baby, and it adapts, and your body makes the things that your baby needs. Of course, this is why we need to take care of our temple so our body can make the best milk that it can. Breast milk is made from the blood. Obviously, a good diet gives good quality blood, and that goes to your baby. Now, if you can't breastfeed for whatever reason, a lot of that is because your temple hasn't been taken care of properly. But there are reasons out of our control. Your next best thing would be to find some donor milk and try to get donor milk that's for this stage of your baby. So a mother's newborn milk, and then if your baby's 3 months old, get milk that's been from a mom that had a 3-month-old baby, and so forth. Okay, the milk for toddlers is totally different than the milk for infants, and the fat content is more. Okay, that's one thing. If you can't get donor breast milk, you need to get the next best thing, which would be either goat's milk, raw cow's milk, or the very best formula you can find, and it's probably not going to be on the Walmart shelf. I'll just put it that way. And I'm not telling anyone to feed their infant goat's milk or cow's milk either. Okay, you need to do your own research on that, but I'm just referring to the quality of the milk. Okay, so your baby's drinking milk, and your baby needs milk all the way up until a minimum of age 2. I mean, really longer. And, you know, nursing a toddler is not like nursing an infant, okay? It's a lot less demanding, and it's not going to be quite as often, so, and you can control it more. You can tell a toddler they can only have milk in the morning or before bed, and so forth, but it's still very valuable. And you can also pump it then too if you don't want to nurse a giant baby. Some people are weird about that, but pretty much everywhere but America, people do this past age 2, okay? When you do start feeding your baby around age 6 months or so, that all depends on the baby. You can see the baby want to eat, the baby gets teeth, the baby can sit up. That's a good sign that it's time to start introducing some solid foods. I don't use baby food unless it's an emergency or traveling or something like that, and I get the very best kind that I can, okay? Otherwise, the baby should just be really eating what the family eats. Mash it, soften it, feed things that are naturally soft and whatnot. And you can do fancy purees if you want, but for the most part, I just slowly work in items that are mashable and soft and that the baby's able to eat. Or I give incy bincy little tiny bites of things like meat or whatever when it's time to do that, okay? Just listen to your baby and work things in. A lot of people like to just introduce a few foods at once in the beginning so you can see how your baby's reacting and how their stomach's doing. And then you slowly taper off the milk, but like I said, the babies need milk until age 2 or more. And then after that, I slowly start introducing raw cow's milk, okay? A little bit at a time each morning. And then eventually after I wean the baby, he's gonna be drinking the cow's milk just like the other children, okay? And I let them drink as much of that as they want, okay? It's expensive. It's more than, the pasteurized milk, but it's either raw cow's milk for us or none. I'm not going to feed the pasteurized milk, and I avoid that in all my ingredients as much as possible. I let them have the occasional ice cream. I can't make ice cream all the time, but for the most part, I do not allow pasteurized milk. And then if I do allow pasteurized milk, it's organic for the most part, okay? There's times when you have to mix with family is the main one where these things get mixed in. But I think you'll find that if your kid drinks cow's milk most of the time, they can also tolerate the pasteurized milk a little bit better. But you'll also notice some stomach aches, okay, because they're not used to it. And then I never really make kid food for the most part. The kids just eat food, regular food that I eat, and I've never really had any issues on being overly picky. Now, children are humans. They have things they like and don't like, and I do listen to those things. You know, I went through a phase as a child where I didn't eat meat, and I also did that as an adult. And I have a daughter, she's 5. She's not really wanting to eat meat right now, and neither is my 2-year-old. I'm not forcing meat down their throat. I just give them a little bitty baby bit with their meal, and if they eat it, they can ask for more, but there's no waste really, and then I just offer little bits until they grow out of their phase. Some of them like tomatoes, some of them like carrots, some of them like cucumbers, but I mainly just make sure they're eating all the colors. So pick something orange, pick something green, pick something purple. And I also let them pick their own food when we go to the farmer's market. And I find that if they pick it, they will at least try it, okay? And I don't force them to eat either. The only thing I might force is just please take a bite and taste it, okay? And I do that every time. Just taste it. Just taste it. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat it. And either some stuff grows on them, or I know that they really don't like it after, trying it 10 times, okay? My kids eat all kinds of food, and they're not weird about trying things. And there's lots of kids out there that have some really, really severe food habits. And I'm thinking that stems from the parents. Obviously, the parents are eating like shit, so then your kids are going to eat like shit. And people always ask me what I do to get them to eat, and it's always like, they just eat what I eat. And I've done that from day one. And I don't give juice. That's a treat. That's like getting candy, okay? I don't buy candy. And if I do, it's a special treat, and it's from somewhere like Trader Joe's that doesn't have food coloring and is made with good ingredients, okay? Just because I tried all that candy when I was a kid does not mean I'm going to give it to my kid. For one, things have been corrupted, okay? And also, we're not going to the past, we're going to the future. And the candy used to not be what it is today, okay? It was made from things like flour and molasses and pure cane sugar. And now we've got in fruits and chocolate, and now we've got, all kinds of weird stuff in the candy, okay? It's not food, okay? You don't have to give it to your kid. And you're also gonna notice that if your kid eats clean like that, you're gonna have a well-behaved child for the most part. And you'll know that when your child messes up, it's not because of the food you fed them, okay? You can cross that off the list, okay? And the next one I go to is sleep. Did they get enough sleep? Okay, maybe they're being bad because they didn't get enough sleep. And then when all those things are taken care of, I know that something's wrong with them. Okay. or that they need discipline in a certain area. But that's the basics of my basic philosophy of children and food.